All right, so you know that feeling when you've got your whole life just mapped out. The career's humming along, relationships are solid, the future looks bright, and then bam, life just throws a massive curveball you never saw coming. Well, we're going to dive right into that feeling today because that's exactly where this whole story begins. So check this out. Picture it. You're in your early 30s, and the plan is, perfect. Married, a couple of kids, the house, even the golden retriever. It's the dream. But then reality hits. And for the person in our source material, the pandemic turned that dream into, well, being single, living in a one-bedroom apartment, and working from a kitchen desk. Talk about a reality check, right? And I think so many of us can relate to that feeling, that huge, jarring gap between the life we thought we'd have and the one we're actually living. But here's the thing, and this is what's so cool about this story. That messy, super uncomfortable time, it wasn't the end, not even close. It was actually the beginning of something way better. Getting pushed into that corner forced a ton of self-reflection. It started with trying to figure out what went wrong in a relationship, but it quickly snowballed into these huge, important questions like, who do I actually want to be? And what kind of impact do I want to have in the world? And that brings us to this really critical moment, a crossroads we all face: blame versus growth. So let me ask you this, and be honest with yourself. When life gets tough, when it feels messy and just not good, what's your first move? What's your gut reaction? Because where your mind goes in that moment, well, that says a lot about everything. It really comes down to two paths, like a fork in the road. On one side, you've got blame. And look, it's the easy route, right? It feels kind of good for a minute to point the finger, blame the boss, the company, the whole system. But here's the catch, and this is a huge point from our source. Blame asks nothing of you. So you don't grow, you don't change, you stay stuck. But then there's the other path, growth. And that's all about making a commitment to look in the mirror and work on yourself. It's harder, for sure, but that's where the real life-changing transformation actually happens. Okay, so how do we actually choose that path of growth? Where do we even start? Well, it all boils down to this one incredible skill. You might even call it a superpower. And that superpower is self-awareness. It's basically the ability to see yourself clearly, to understand how your own thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are creating ripples that affect not just you, but everyone around you. And here's the best part. This is not some magical gift that you're either born with or you're not. Nope, it is a skill. And just like any skill, you can practice it and get so much better at it. So why should you even care about this? I mean, what's the payoff? Well, the research is crystal clear on this. People with high self-awareness, they're not just sitting around thinking deep thoughts. They actually achieve more success. They build way stronger relationships, both at work and at home. They're happier in their careers, and this is a big one, they're way more resilient. When life knocks them down, they get back up faster. I mean, the benefits are absolutely huge. All right, so we get it. Self-awareness is a game changer. But how? How do you actually do it? Let's break down the toolkit, the 5 practical steps you can start using, like, today. So here is the 5-step framework. First, challenge yourself. Second, ask for feedback. Third, pay attention to your self-talk. Fourth, carve out time to reflect. And fifth, try some self-assessment tools. Okay, let's look at each one. First up, challenge yourself. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you learned something really profound about yourself while you were just comfortable? Probably never, right? True self-discovery happens when you step outside your comfort zone and put yourself in situations that really stretch you. That's when you find out what you're truly made of. Okay, next is seeking feedback. And yeah, I know, this one can feel a little cringy, but the payoff is pure gold. And it doesn't have to be some big, formal, scary thing. You could just go to a coworker you trust and say, hey, I'm really trying to get better at how I communicate in meetings. Was there one thing you noticed in that last one that I could maybe improve on? See? Simple. Not scary. And so valuable. Step 3 is all about that little voice inside your head, your self-talk. That voice is basically the narrator of your life, and it sets the tone for everything. If your inner narrator is constantly tearing you down, telling you you're not good enough, well, guess what? You're going to start believing it. So the work here is to become an auditor of your own thoughts, to catch those destructive patterns and consciously replace them with a voice that's actually on your team.
Number 4, devote time to reflection. This is so important and it won't happen by accident. You have to literally schedule it. We're talking about finding just 20 minutes a week. That's it. That is less than 1% of your entire week. You could use that time for journaling, going for a walk without your phone, or just talking things out with a friend. It doesn't matter how you do it, just that you make it a habit to stop and ask, hey, what's working for me right now and what's not?
And finally, step 5, try some self-assessment tools. Now, things like Myers-Briggs or Strength Finders can be super useful. And listen, the point isn't to get a label and stick yourself in a box. The point is to get a new language, a new framework for understanding why you do the things you do. They help you see your own patterns more clearly. And you don't have to shell out a bunch of cash. There are tons of really good free versions of these things all over the internet that you can try out. So when you start doing this stuff, challenging yourself, getting feedback, really reflecting, you'll start to look at all those messy parts of your life in a totally different light. Which brings us to this powerful, central idea. Your mistakes, your challenges, and the messy times, they're the raw material for growth. I mean, just let that sink in. All those things we try to run away from, the screw-ups, the tough times, the uncomfortable moments, they're not failures. They're the building blocks. They're the ingredients you need to become better if you just choose to see them that way. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. Take a look at your own life right now. The good, the bad, the messy. What's the raw material that's sitting right in front of you? What's just waiting for you to pick it up and build your next big transformation?